Here we go. In a world of safe spaces, Candace Owens is creating one where thoughts can flow freely. From politics and culture to good days and bad, follow her straight into the center of it all. You too can donate to the Candace Owens Fund because she's now out of a job. Candace Owens has been fired from the Daily Wire. Can you believe that? So nice that it rhymes, actually. Donald Trump went up to her and said, Candace Owens, you're fired. You're fired. It's amazing. I never thought I'd see the day, honestly. Like, they've been feuding for quite a while now, and we're going to get into that. But yeah, it's, Ben Shapiro decided that he's had enough. Jeremy Boring decided that he's had enough. And they said, later, Candace. Smile later. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. So yeah, that's cool. She's just gone now. She's just gone from the Daily Wire. She's going to be doing her own shit, of course. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But I don't know. Let's just get right into it. So I want to start off with a little bit of a history. So Candace Owens was first hired in 2017 by the Daily Wire, right? And ever since then, she's been doing all manner of things. She's been doing a little bit of racism here, a little bit of transphobia there, a little bit of homophobia, just running the gamut. And so I want to start off with her most famous clip, right? We're going to get into a bunch of anti-Semitic things that she's done just to give you guys a taste. And here's a famous clip of hers that I believe went viral of her defending Hitler. Let's take a look.
I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German.
Look at the fear in her eyes, dude. She knows that she's cooked.
Everybody to be speaking German.
So when people try to
let's
legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
It does, Mr. Liu. I know that Ms. Owens distanced herself from those comments later, but we expressed great concern over the original comments.
I also expressed great concern. Her career should have ended then and there, in my opinion. But alas, we're with what we're with. But it's basically, it's over with the Daily Wire now, at least. So that's one step in the process. So moving on. The next part of this, now we're skipping over a lot, to be fair. But the most contentious that she and Ben Shapiro have been after that point is starting with Kanye West, aka Ye West. That's his new name. So I'll be referring to him as, I'll just say Kanye. It's just easier. So Kanye West's anti-Semitic tweet. If you are an honest person, so Jason S. Campbell tweeted this. And this is the tweet in question. I'm a bit sleepy tonight. This is from Ye. But when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda. Now, I think anybody with 2 brain cells would look at this and understand it's a little anti-Semitic, I think, right? I think we can all agree on that, right? Just a little bit, maybe. But not Candace. Let's see what she had to say about it.
That was the tweet. And people subsequently demanded that the tweet be taken down for anti-Semitism. Now, if you are an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. You did not think that he wrote this tweet because he hates or wants to genocide Jewish people. This does not represent the beginning of the Holocaust. That's if you're an honest person, you'll meet that. You will.
If you're an honest person, of course, yes. Like Candace Owens, sorry, right, over here. If you're an honest person, obviously, that's not anti-Semitic at all. And of course, he did not go on to defend Hitler and the Nazis and the Holocaust, right? He didn't do any of that, of course. Oh wait, yes he did. Oops. Oopsie doopsie. Let's see what Ben Shapiro had to say about Ye. I guess I'm referring to him as Ye. I'll be interchanging it, whatever.
Been watching for the past few weeks is the obvious mental breakdown of one of the most famous people on earth, Kanye West, who now wishes to be known as Ye. What we've been watching here is obviously a manic episode from a person who has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I've been saying this since the very beginning. Several things can be true at once.
Wrong.
One, Ye West, Kanye West, he is a Jew hater. Pretty obviously, there is no way to avoid that conclusion.
Oops.
The stuff that he's been ranting and raving over the past several weeks demonstrates that he doesn't just hate specific Jews, he hates the Jews. The Jews are the problem.
He's not wrong. Gotta give it to my boy Ben here. He's correct. Yeah, I would say that that's pretty obvious. That's a L for Candace. So score 1 for Ben if we're keeping score. All right, let's move on. So actually, I don't remember them fighting too much about this interpersonally, but I do remember there was some contention. There was like some contention. You could start to see the sparks of a fight going on. Right? He doesn't respect trans people's new names, so why should we respect his millionth narcissistic name change? It doesn't matter to me. I don't really give a shit. If if you call him Kanye, that's what he's known as. You say Kanye, there's only one Kanye that you know. So for him to change the name is just really stupid. So anyway, we're moving on. So this is the next part of this. So October 7th happened, right? And October 7th of 2023 was the day that Hamas did a terror attack on Israel. It was during, I believe, a concert, and they killed people, and it was bad. It was really bad. They killed civilians. That's a bad thing to do. We condemn that, right? It's bad. And we can go into like how that happened and how that came about and how Israel basically created Hamas and all that. But we're going to leave that all aside for now. What Hamas did in that instance was bad, correct? Okay, so Candace Owens appears to agree. And this was her response essentially to, I want to say something that the Daily Wire said or Ben Shapiro said about Israel's response to what Hamas did, because Israel's response was way overblown. And I just said Candace agrees. Sorry. What I meant was, Ben Shapiro agrees. I apologize. I said earlier in the stream that my gears are still starting up, so I apologize. Ben Shapiro agrees that what Hamas did was bad, but he agrees to the extent that what Israel did in response was proportional and fine, which was to completely decimate the Gaza Strip. So Candace Owens came out against Ben Shapiro saying that and said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they..." Now, she didn't do it specifically because she's spineless. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye..." Oh, there, see? She's still doing it. "Are ye, when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." So basically what she's saying is, in her own way, that what Israel is doing is bad. Now, I think that this is spurred on by her anti-Semitism more than her care or whatever about Palestine. I don't think she gives a single shit about Palestine or their plight, but she hates the Jews so much that she just can't help herself and has to rail against Israel, right? And there are a couple others too that are like that, and we'll get to them later. You saw Don Levin and Elon Musk interview? I did not, no. Ben Shapiro responded to that, saying, "Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit." Because he knew what she meant. Right? So he said, "No, you can't do that. Actually, we're a pro-Israel company here, and you cannot come out and say that." So those two have been in a spat ever since then, essentially. Now, they've taken breaks here and there to do some transphobia, like I said earlier, but, they just haven't been on good terms. Not since the Ye thing, probably, but definitely since the Gaza Strip thing, the Israel, October 7th, is what I meant. All right, so moving on. Now, this is an article detailing how exactly, like a couple of the events that we're going to go over here. So I wanted to pull it up and use it kind of as a guide. It is from the New York Post, which, doesn't always have the best articles, but whatever. We're going to use it as a guide because it does have some truth in here. All right. So Daily Wire chief Jeremy Boring shared to X on Friday that the Conservatives news site has parted ways with the controversial political presenter Candace Owens. We're going to go over that later. In the aftermath of Hamas's October 7th attack, Owens has emerged as an outspoken critic of Israel, most recently liking a post on X about a centuries-old conspiracy theory that says rabbis drink the blood of Christians, Mediaite earlier reported. And we're going to go over that in a second as well. Sorry I keep saying that. I promise we're going to get to all of this. But first, I want to go over her comment about the Jewish clique in Israel. Yeah, like a small ring of people in Hollywood, or not in Israel, sorry, in Hollywood, using the fact that they are Jewish to shield themselves from any criticism. And I pulled up a Majority Report video because it's the only one that I could find that had an easily accessible source for this. So let's go ahead and take a look at what she said here.
What if that is what is happening right now in Hollywood, if there is just a very small ring of specific people who are using the fact that they are Jewish to shield themselves from any criticism? It's food for thought, right? And I think, again, there have been enough people that are speaking out about a ring in Hollywood, also a ring potentially in DC, that we should start to ask those questions. All of us, Black, Spanish, I love Majority Report, Jewish, Chinese, Japanese, all totally. Americans so should want answers because this appears to be something that is quite sinister. Wow.
Something sinister. It's a group of people. And the only thing that she can come up with is that they happen to be Jewish. How can we assess
who's to say how that came about?
Who this group of people are? All we know is that they happen to be Jewish.
All of them. Every single one of them, in fact. They're just all Jewish, you know? They got their little Jewish clique going on, right? All right, what's the next tab I got here? 1 second. Yes. The next thing that the article mentions, where's it at? Oh, yeah. Owens doubled down on the stance with a follow-up to the post to X earlier this month, where she wrote, "Awaken world." Here, let's go straight to the tweet, shall we? "Awaken world to the monsters who have caused immense suffering to others via slander, threats, and coercion. Rabbi Shmuley is one of these monsters, and any person who defends him or his hag daughter is immediately suspicious." Oof. Now, I don't know very much about Rabbi Shmuley, but I do know that he is in fact a rabbi, and I think that this guy came out against what Candace Owens said there, so those two are in a little bit of a scuffle, but like I said, I don't know a whole lot about him, but he'll be important here in a second. So in response, in a second would be now, Rabbi Shmuley said that Candace Owens has an army of anti-Semites who are creating a deep fake of me sounding like a racist Bull Connor. Now, I don't know anything about that deep fake, but what's important here is this next part, which the article mentions. Botich received a slew of replies mocking him for his post, including one from user Christ Gnosis that reads, "It says, February 20th, Rabbi, are you drunk on Christian blood again?" Eesh. Big yikes there. What's going on with that? Now, what could this tweet be? Well, in case you don't know, this idea that Jews drink Christian blood is a pretty old myth that is rooted heavily in anti-Semitism, if you couldn't tell. It's just like, you know, the caricature of like the evil Jew doing evil Jewish things like hypnotizing people and shit. You know, all kinds of things that we just take for granted today. You know, like hypnotism, and even like witches, I think, have roots in anti-Semitism, although I could be wrong about that part. But goblins definitely do. This is like as old as anti-Semitism is. Like, this is really ancient anti-Semitism, for what I understand, is that they drink Christian blood. Now, why is this tweet important? Well, as it turns out, you can also find the tweet in this list of tweets. Now, here it is right here. What is this list of tweets, you might ask? Well, my friends, this is Candace Owens' like list. Yes, you can find this tweet in her list of likes. Isn't that interesting? Oh, what's that doing there, Candace? Huh? Interesting that. I don't know. It's just interesting, right? I just find that incredibly interesting. It's the original blood libel conspiracy. Yeah, exactly. I don't know too much about it, but I know enough. Christians drink the blood of Jesus, was a Jew. That is true, actually. The reverse is actually the case. That, see, it's all just projection, right? It's all projection. All right, what do I got next? All right, next, I just want to pull up some recent things, two recent clips from a Candace Owens discussion that she had with a rabbi. I don't know who this rabbi is. I don't know how important he is, but I just found these two clips incredibly interesting as well, and also kind of funny. The rabbi says, "Was October 7th uniquely evil?" And Candace Owens' response to that is quite interesting. Let's take a look. Lots of interesting things today.
Question.
I'm honestly, you asked it. I'm ready to answer it. I think it was evil, and if you feel it's uniquely, we've bombed a million Iraqi civilians. You're talking about just like if you're weighing against civilian costs. And again, I think how you said about when you read you watch the Passion of the Christ, and you have your eyes when you watch it, and I have my Christian eyes. Very difficult for me to say when the greatest Holocaust that ever happened was against Christians, and what the Bolsheviks did to us, drowning us in barges. I cannot discount the things that have happened to Christians. We are actually the most persecuted religion in the world.
Of course. Of course, yes. The real Holocaust was actually against the Christians, and whatever the she said about that, right? I don't know anything about that event, but I'm sorry. The Holocaust was pretty bad. Like, it would take a lot to top that, okay? So I think she's bullshitting me. Personally, I love how the Jewish people have loopholes to their own super serious religious rules. Well, so do Christians. I mean, the Christians are technically supposed to follow the Old Testament, which is basically just the Torah. So Christians also just like, they also have a ton of loopholes. So does every religion. Every religion is bullshit, sorry. Like by that I mean like every religion has their loopholes. But anyway. So yeah, that's Candace Owens saying that actually the Christians have always and forever had it worse than the Jews. Somehow, I guess, right? Famously, as it were. Next clip we have. Now, I don't know how relevant this is to this segment, but I wanted to show you guys anyway because I just find it incredibly funny. Let's take a look.
Everything I'm saying about him, like, if this is holy, like, selling butt plugs with your daughter, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I think it's gross.
I don't know the truth of that. But regardless, that is a wild thing to say. An absolutely wild thing to say to a man of faith, okay? Or supposedly a man of faith. I'm not sure. If I had to guess, he's, probably like he does all of the things that would lead you to believe that he is, religious, but doesn't actually follow any of the doctrine, like personally. You know what I mean? So I don't know about his daughter. I don't know what they're doing, but that, again, that's just a wild thing, just a completely out of the box wild thing for Candace to put on the table.
I think it's disgusting, and I do not. It's not the definition of holy in the Christian faith, is what I would say. It's weird to me. It's very weird. And this could be a difference in our religions. But by the way, your religion does not trump my religion. So I think that you should respect the fact when I say something is unholy, I am referring to my religion. His relationship between him and his daughter is very creepy to me. The sex podcast is very creepy to me. The idea of sitting down and talking to your father about, topics of sex in any regard is creepy to me. Him promoting butt plugs that are sold by his daughter is creepy to me. I have a right to say that I find this to be utterly unholy, and that any faith leader, at least in the Christian community, would agree that all of this is giving us very weird vibes between the father and daughter relationship.
I don't know exactly what she's going on about. I just thought that was a funny clip. I think it's funny when people talk about butt plugs. That's all. That's it. That's the take. Anyway, moving on to the more relevant shit. Again, this is just her railing against a man of the Jewish faith. So more just it lends credence to the anti-Semitism, basically. All right, what do we got next? Okay, so here's Candace Owens' final segment at the Daily Wire, folks. Ready?
In a few weeks, I will be out to Israel, and I will be out to Gaza, and I will be able to report to you guys what it is that I actually see. But I also want to say this because it's so important. I am Team God. Okay? I'm Team God. I do not fear the media. I do not fear journalists. I do not fear AIPAC. I don't fear Big Pharma. What I actually fear is God. I think that one day we are all going to have to account for the things that we have done and the things that we have said. And I want to make sure that I am not a person that is parroting lies. The fear of losing your job, encouraging some people to spit out lies.
She doesn't feel it all, of course.
I don't think that works in the end. Right? I think you got to check your priorities.
Nothing to worry about.
And so with that said, I want to thank everybody who has been on this journey with me, people that have supported me. I especially want to thank all of the Jewish people that have been in the comments saying how outraged they are. And I know that it is especially difficult for you guys right now because you are being smeared, I mean, I'm not going to go away. I'm going to use my God-given voice to talk about the things that are important for me. I'm just asking to be left alone, or at least just
of course, right.
The truth.
That's all she needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. But don't worry, because we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode.
If only I could play copyright music, the Curb Your Enthusiasm would be beautiful right here. Would it not? Dubsy, if you can, put on some similar music for me, if you don't mind. Copyright safe, please. So, the day after, folks, Jeremy Boring comes out, one of the founders of Daily Wire. Daily Wire and Candace Owens have, alas, ended their relationship. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. Oh, no. Can we please get F's in the chat? F's in the chat for my girl, Candace. Oh, man. All right, so we got the Jeremy Boring tweet. Okay, so Candace Owens came out with a response video. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, it's Candace. The rumors are true. I am free. Welcome to my locals page. So much to talk about. Obviously, I'm going to take a couple of weeks here just to rebuild and to refocus and to create something that is actually mine and something that can't be threatened or taken because it belongs to me. I can't tell you enough how much your support has meant to me over the years. We're just getting started.
That'll be good, right?
Join the locals page. Obviously here you can support me and my work
as an
independent journalist, as an independent podcaster. We're still going to be doing 5 days a week. There'll be tons of announcements coming in the next couple of weeks.
Lots of anti-Semitism to come,
folks. The last thing I want to say is thank you. And for those of you that don't want to be on locals and just want to support in any capacity, you can head to gocandace.com. Thank you, guys.
GoCandace.com. I kind of want to see that now. Here we go. In a world of safe spaces, Candace Owens is creating one where thoughts can flow freely. From politics and culture to good days and bad, follow her straight into the center of it all. You too can donate to the Candace Owens Fund because she's now out of a job. Only $5 a month. We've been doing that bit a lot lately, but it is fun. That guy behind her with the red tie does not want to be there. I don't think any of them do. I mean, do you see a single face that wants to be here? Look at this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. None of them want to be here. Like, what the f? They all look miserable. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Free, I didn't know that meant unemployed. Hey, in some ways it does. If you got enough money, which Candace Owens probably does. She could probably just live on that money for the rest of her life and never have to do anything else, but she's too attention hungry. She's too deep in the sauce now, you know? It is worth it every time. It is, yeah. I mean, it is just interesting that they all look so miserable. All right, so the last thing that I want to cover here is not everybody agrees with Candace Owens' decision. And I want to start off with, and obviously the Daily Wire doesn't. So here's a couple of the Daily Wire's, well, actually just one Daily Wire supporter. You know, you got Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring. I know you can add Dave Rubin to that list of people who are siding with the Daily Wire and against Candace Owens.
I think she's a little confused about some of the things, but I think, well, I hope you heard the overriding part, which is that I don't want to make it personal with her. I don't really consider us friends anymore. But that's just like the nature of the reality of the thing that we're all in. I think she's...
So that was a short clip, but just to get across the point that Dave Rubin is no longer friends with Candace Owens. They are no longer going to brunch together. They are no longer getting martinis. It's all over. It's over between those two. Friendship ended. Yes, Dave Dubin himself. Lance from the Surfs does such a good Dave Rubin voice. I know he does. You know who does a really good Donald Trump voice? Shit, I can't remember his name. Hold on. Tyler. Westside Tyler. Westside Tyler. I like Tyler, but goddamn is he long-winded. Yeah, but I enjoy that. Some people like that. That's my thing. Is he better than Brennan? The best Donald Trump impression that exists is Psychic Pebbles, a.k.a. Zach Hadel, the creator of Smiling Friends. Hadel Trump. I love his Trump impression.
Do you know that Donald Trump played this game and thought, ooh, little characters in cages, I'll do that IRL? I was playing crack and I saw the little characters in cages and frankly I thought, that looks not so bad.
Okay, you get the idea, but I love that impression. It's the best. Impressions are the best. I love impressions. That's why I want to get into voice acting so bad. Yeah, Zach Hadel's the best. If you've never seen Smiling Friends, go watch it. It's Katie's favorite show. No, it's not. I'm just around. She hates that show, but I love that show. All right, Charlie Kirk. Not everybody is against Candace Owens. So Charlie Kirk is still apparently on Candace Owens' side. She's still working with him at TPUSA, or TPUSA as I like to call it, and she's still a key leading voice according to Gabe Hoffman, who I trust dearly with my life. I have no clue who he is, but I'm sure he would protect me if it came to it. I'm sure. So, she is still working with Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk is still on her side. And that's not it. Alex Jones as well. Now, he's not speaking specifically about the Candace Owens things because this is a little bit before that. This is from yesterday. He says, Israel has lost the high ground. This is not war. It is robotic mass genocide. Section 1091 of Title 18, United States Code prohibits genocide whether committed in time of peace or in time of war. Genocide is defined in 1091 and includes violent attacks with the specific intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. That was a decent, I guess, impression. I'm trying. But he is against what Israel is doing in Palestine. So he's on Team Candace, apparently. Or at least he would be if it came down to it. Alex Jones is never speaking specifically. He shouts unspecifically. That's pretty true. But I do think if it came down to it, he and Candace Owens would probably get together and do something together. You know what I mean? If he's allowed to still. With the recent lawsuits, I don't even know if he's allowed to have a platform anymore. But apparently on Twitter he is. Thanks, Elon. And finally, first Candace, then Alex, and now Tucker Carlson. You'll love to see it. The Zionists are losing control of the narrative. They're losing an entire generation, and it's why all these sleazy politicians who are beholden to the Israel lobby are running around trying to pass hate speech legislation and internet censorship bills, blah-de-blah-de-blah. You know that Tucker Carlson's not actually going to be pro-Palestine. He's just anti-Israel. And he's probably just doing it as a populist thing because he sees the way that the tides are turning, right? So let's take a look at what he has to say.
Military aid to Israel and the implied security guarantees, some explicit, but many implied security guarantees of the United States to Israel probably haven't helped Israel that much long term. It's a rich country with a highly capable population. Like every other country, it's probably best if it makes its decisions based on what it can do by itself. And I don't see any advantage to the United States. I mean, I think it's important for each country to make its own decisions. Again,
so there you go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think you can overstate the lack of wisdom, weakness, short-term thinking of American foreign policy leadership. These are the architects of the Iraq War, of the totally pointless destruction of Libya, totally pointless destruction of Syria, and the 20-year occupation of Afghanistan that resulted in a return to the status quo. So like of the Vietnam War, their track record of the Korean War, even going back 80 years, is uninterrupted failures. I just don't have any confidence in those leaders to improve. When was the last time they improved another country?
Okay, so that was my last tab. So basically what I'm getting at with that last little bit there is, I know this was supposed to be about Candace Owens getting fired and how funny that is, but it seems as though Israel is tearing apart the conservatives just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I like that. We like that, folks. We like that. It's awesome. You know, it's great to see. You love to see it. You know, you have one side who loves imperialism. They love hurting brown people. Israel is likely doing it as a country, largely financial reasons, right? Not as a Jewish state, but as a state. As any state does, as the United States does as well. That's what I meant. But on the other side, you have people who are so anti-Semitic that they cannot just keep it in their pants and they have to go out against Israel just out of principle. You know, and so you see this rift in the conservative party now, and that's a good thing. It's funny because it is two anti-Semitic groups fighting about how best to be anti-Semitic. Exactly. But yeah, I just found this story incredibly funny. I know that I don't have that much intellectual commentary to add to it. I just thought that I'd get some, a little bit of anti-Semitism from Candace Owens, aka Candace Owens, lay it out on the table for you, show you why Ben Shapiro doesn't like her guts anymore, and then show you how some conservatives are siding for her and some are siding against her. There are some conservatives on here saying that the Daily Wire is censoring Candace Owens, that they're part of like the big Jewish media, you know, all that kind of stuff. And there are some people saying that the Daily Wire is actually based in doing this because they're supporting Israel and they're, you know, even anybody who's against them is anti-Semitic. I've seen an even split. Basically an even split, which is bad for them. It's very bad. Incidentally, and I didn't pull up this clip, but Candace Owens also supports Nikki Haley over Donald Trump. And I think that like that's kind of where the people who are against Israel are going to go, is that direction. This is just speculation. But I think it's going to be like the Nikki Haley people and the anti-Trumpers who are against Israel because they're just so damn anti-Semitic, you know? And then you're going to have the people who are pro-Trump and pro-Israel and pro-rapture and pro-imperializing brown people and all that good stuff. And it's just going to cause a pretty bad divide, honestly. And I'm hoping that will help us in this upcoming election. But who's to say? This is all just speculation. So keep your hopes up, you know? Laugh at Candace all you want. She deserves it. And that's about all I got, guys. That's all I got.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.